I was writing a character, of a certain age range that is very difficult to get involved in a micro-budget indie film.
Mm-hmm.
So I specifically hunted down, I put into Mandy the age range and what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and I found like 3 candidates or 4 candidates,
Mm-hmm.
and I went directly to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that my lead, who I'd written the film for, David Lennox, he knew you because you taught him. You'd actually
Yes.
taught him at drama school.
Yes, I'd forgotten that.
So when he saw you, we both agreed Tessa is the best of the bunch.
Yes.
So we got tapes in from people, and then I remember a feeling of like I had to, not that you gave me this feeling, but I personally had a feeling I need to tempt this lady into coming to want to work with us youngsters and come and do a horror film, because it wasn't for financial reasons,
No.
because being the budget, but it was for I wanted to just make sure that you knew we were the real deal. We wanted to do something with passion and make something good,
So you came to Acton, where I was living in West London, and you said, let's just have a quick coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if my memory serves me well, 3 hours later,
Yeah.
and I was very impressed with you because you knew, not only did you know films that are coming out now or in the last 5 years, but you knew about people who'd been friends of mine, who'd done a lot of B movies, people like David Warbeck, who was a fantastic actor, especially in horror films, but all kinds of things. He was up for the James Bond role several times, and it never quite worked out. But you knew of him, and I thought, God, that's amazing.
He's in many of my favourite films. The cult fandom of his movies has just grown and grown
Exactly.
over the years.
I mean, he died quite a number of years ago, but he's still got quite a decent IMDb rating.
Huge following.
People do love, and he was a lovely man, I have to say.
Legendary actor.
He used to love wearing a kilt. And I can remember at one party, I lay on his gorgeous tiled floor in this converted church and looked up to see whether he was wearing anything underneath, and he wasn't. It was very exciting.
All these tales, and
Yes.
and furthermore, when I've been to your house, you'll get the photo albums out, and there's all the pictures, and it's
Yes.
it's so it's just really
Well, as somebody said recently at a film festival, somebody said, "Oh, I know Tessa Wood," and this other person in the car said, "Yeah, she's been around a long time."
Yeah.
I think the key in this industry is just not to die too young.
Yeah. So you've got this script from me, and English Haunting is basically kind of a two-hander. It's a lot of dialogue between yourself and David. How do you prepare for it, and was it a daunting task?
I was just so thrilled to have a lovely meaty role. It's quite unusual, as you say, for an older actress. And I almost set myself a timetable every day. I can't remember how many scenes I was in, but probably
Many.
about 40 or something.
Yeah.
And I would work on a scene in a particular way, and then I would shoot it myself at home just on an iPhone, and I'd critique it. And I mean, my danger, I suppose, is that I over-prepare. I like to arrive at every job I do being absolutely on it with the lines. In fact, I like to be on it with the lines long before I start. And this was no exception. I am sorry, Blake. You can't stay here in this place, this twisted place. I'm losing my mind. I just loved the character, and so it was no hardship.
Yeah.
I just really devoted myself to it for I had a nice long lead time, actually. I think it was about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And
I always try, especially if it's a dialogue heavy script, I try to have a bit of
Well, there was
time.
Dancing in it as well,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
there? Such as it was, and a lot of running about.
Yeah.
And it was quite physical, really, as well as everything else. So there was quite a lot to try and encapsulate in that 6 weeks, but I was grateful for having that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember that you're probably one of the most prepared actors I've ever worked with, because I would meet with you and you had filmed all of the scenes.
I did, many
your phone.
times. Yeah.
So you could say, and you did say, how's this?
Yeah,
Show it to me, and I could just watch it. I could watch you perform the whole scene, and then I could give you notes.
I must tell you, I was having a bit of clear out the other day, and I suddenly came across this A4 pad, and I found all your director notes in it.
Oh, really?
I nearly brought it today.
Oh,
it was really
interesting.
sweet. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, God knows what they said.
No, they were very good. Really, your direction was excellent.
Oh, good. Good to hear. And then, of course, the reason really I came to even do this film and I wrote this script in the first place, because there actually was a whole different film that I wanted to make, and this came in kind of short notice. It was kind of a change suddenly, was because I knew of this location which we're now in, Shuckburgh Hall.
How did you find it?
Well, basically I was doing corporate videos, and it was a sort of a clay pigeon shooting day, shooting school, and I was making their promotional videos. I'd done them in other places, and then eventually came the day where they said, we're going to do them today in Shuckburgh Hall. And so I arrived at Shuckburgh Hall, and the guy who runs the shooting school, he kind of had prepped me, oh, just so you know, you are going to love this place. You know, it's perfect for a horror film. The owners are very reasonable and friendly people. You should talk to them
And
about.
they really are.
Yeah, and so we did the whole filming, and at the end, I mean, I was walking around the grounds, you know, filming this corporate video, and I'm seeing this old broken down greenhouse covered in vines and broken glass, and
the chapel.
I'm seeing scenes, the chapel.
Exactly.
I'm seeing you could not ask for a better haunted house location than here.
Yep.
And I don't care what anyone says about, you know, reviewers saying it looks like a cheap movie or they were on a budget or whatever. This house is the real deal, and you could not make a haunted house look this good on a Hollywood level budget. This is it.
Blake, don't straggle, please. Aubrey resides on the top floor, so you'll have almost the entirety of Clermont Hall to yourselves.
This is what you pay millions to attempt to replicate.
Exactly. From the moment you see that white Rolls Royce coming along that long drive, you're just there, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, I adore this location.
Yeah, me too.
And at the end of the corporate video shoot, the owners said, okay, we're going to the pub if anyone fancies joining us. Most people just, you know, went on their way. I was joining them, and I was going to wait until we were a few pints in, and then choose my moment to say, I'd love to make a horror film here, you know, and that's exactly what I did.
And I don't think he knew what he was letting himself in for, did he really?
Probably not.
He said yes.
Probably not, although we've still got an amazing relationship with the owners.
I've had a lovely chat with him this evening, but I can remember for the first few days, and I hope he will forgive me for saying this, he was a little bit reserved, because I think he was thinking, what the hell have I let myself in for?
Yeah, I mean, any location that allows filming into their house, especially an indie film, you're allowing in carnage, chaos.
Yes.
Although I will say we were really very respectful and tidy, and we're a tiny two-man crew.
Yes.
So we were a very small unit, but still it is alarming to suddenly open your home to ghosts and screaming people and blood.
But it was interesting across what turned out to be nearly a month, best part of a month, because we came twice, didn't we?
Yeah.
By the end of it, he was visibly relaxing, and that was lovely to see. And when I came today, it was like meeting an old friend.
Yeah,
he and his wife.
You want to leave that at every location you go. You want to attempt to leave that nice feeling that, you know, they've been part of something, and that, you know, their home has been part of the movie.
Absolutely.
You want them to feel that way. So I spoke to them, and they agreed that they would let me come and film here. And I got to say I was over the moon, because this was my 5th horror movie. And you know, I'd done the first one, and my feelings on that, you know, it's a bit of a testing ground. I mean, every film's a learning curve, but a real testing ground. The second one, I had an amazing castle to film in, so I was used to great big amazing properties. That? House of Violent Desire.
Oh, of course, yes.
And that one, you know, again, if, you know, you could like the film, hate the film, but you can't say that the location isn't stunning. I loathe a horror film set in your modern day kitchen or apartment. I agree. I'm so bored.
Yeah,
there are good ones, but I'm just so bored by it.
You did it again for me with The Haunting of the Tower of London.
Right, yeah.
And that was an amazing place in, where was it? Somewhere
that was in
Wiltshire. Chippenham. Absolutely beautiful.
So I'm always got my eye out for the location, and this was like, the gold nugget of them all was to have the whole of this place.
Yes.
To be our playground, to make this movie. I wrote specifically for this place. And our investor, I'll tell this story, our investor, Peter Oxley,
yes,
just a person who became a friend and I guess a fan of what I was doing through Twitter. And this never happens, but it happened. But he just got in touch and said, I'm going to fund you the movie.
Oh, God.
So I had a blank check to make whatever I wanted.
Oh, bless him.
With this person who I barely met.
Yes.
Money.
He loves film, though, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
His home is like this, but with
yeah,
DVDs. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote a completely different script, actually, for a whole different movie, and I got really far down the line, even bought costumes, and I cast the whole thing. And then an actor dropped out at the last minute, and it was a really essential role. And I just couldn't find I'd so specifically written it for him. And so this is why I said, I'm going to go to Shuckburgh Hall, I'm going to write a film for David. And we just, the missing element was just, we need to find someone to play David's mum.
Yeah, and David and I clicked, didn't we?
And you clicked right away. You were like the secret sauce that we just needed, because I just felt so much more relaxed, and I'm spending my friend's money.
I know, a guy you hardly knew, in fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I felt much more relaxed to do this more manageable project where really David, who is always trustable and dependable, he was the backbone of the project anyway, being the lead. So I knew that I wasn't, going too far out on a limb, into the unknown. I'd just made another two-hander the same year, 2018, which was my film Winter Skin.
Oh, yes.
And so a similar situation, because once again I had David as the lead. I had a really difficult time, we both did, on that two-hander of Winter Skin.
Well, you were out in freezing conditions, weren't you?
It was absolutely freezing. It was all-night shoots.
Awful.
And I
fancy that.
Yeah, I just did a film, House of Violent Desire, where it was a 10-person cast, and at all times there were 9 actors there. And then on set there were a lot of big ensemble scenes. Sometimes each film I make, I want to focus on a specific target. And on Winter Skin it was, I just want to tell a simple story with 2 people. And you'd think that from having 9 people to having 2 people is going to be easier. Just the situation, 26 days of shooting.
Yes.
I wanted to get the hell out of this cabin. It was set in the cabin. It was about cabin fever.
But outside it was all snow, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was only a couple of days of filming. But the interior, I was locked in there. We had, for real, cabin fever.
And was it warm in the cabin?
It was absolutely. It was colder in the cabin than in Finland in the snow.
It sounds like a idea of hell.
And at the end of it, I said, I'm not doing this again. And then actually, we come to do another two-hander in a bigger location, but still a confined location. So I was very, very terrified, actually, going in. I was kind of traumatized from Winter Skin to work with.
I didn't know any of that. But actually, it didn't feel like a two-hander, because
we did have
quite a few people in the cast, actually.
We did have
Barrington had quite a big role. And
Jess and
yes,
Emma.
So
we did have other people.
And then 1 or 2 extras.
Yeah, ghosts and all that stuff.
Exactly.
A question I have for you is, I've told you about my trepidation going into it.
Yes.
You came along and, there's David, there's Michael and me. We're all early 20s, boys.
Yes.
It's a very different age range to you.
Yes.
What was that like? And how did you trust us to come and do it?
Well, it's a funny thing. It almost feels cheeky of me to say this, but I just love the energy of young people.
Yeah.
I've just been in Bristol doing a theatre play in January and February. And again, I was plugged into that pulsating energy, ideas, energy, enthusiasm, passion, even if it doesn't work. And that's what I love, because I think, maybe because I didn't have children of my own, I've remained a child. And I feel that my exterior packaging is not how I feel inside. But I guess a lot of older people say this. But I still I have the enthusiasm. And the other thing is, I stopped acting for quite a while, and I diversified and became a voice coach in various drama schools. And so I actually made a conscious effort to get out of it, and I came out of Spotlight and stopped paying equity and all of that. And so when I came back, at a time when one or two of my friends were getting a bit fed up with it and getting a bit jaundiced with the whole thing, I was suddenly raring to go, and I felt like a 19-year-old starting my career for the first time, although I'd already done nearly 20 years before I went and became a voice coach. And so I think that's what it was. I wasn't really, it sounds cheeky, but I really wasn't terribly aware of the age gap.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any different.
Slow, like just sort of like
Yeah, a bit dreamy, because that's what this is like.
It's a very dreamy track.
I mean, and I could actually, would it work if I went to him?
Yeah, that might work.
If I actually went to him and actually grabbed him and dropped, drew him behind.
Our days will never end. Cheaters never win. I fell in love one day, then I threw it all away. Someone will have to pay.
I wouldn't want to work with all young people, because some young people are very disorganised.
Yeah.
Their vision is all, askew or out of kilter with their budget. But I knew from that 3-hour plus conversation we had initially that you had a passion, you had a knowledge, and you had the expertise because you were properly trained to make it happen. Because I've done one or two other shorts mainly with people who have the ambition, but they haven't trained properly. Training is really, really important. I know there are lots of ways you can get into this industry.
Yeah, and do just try and get in any way you can. But at least for me, to be honest, to bring up film school, I don't know how you feel about drama schools, but to bring up film school, it's not something you need to do, in my opinion. It didn't help me. It was kind of, if anything, it was a hindrance in a way. They teach you some stuff that you have to then unlearn.
I quite agree, and I think it's the same in drama school. But it does give you a sort of professionalism that, I agree with you. You can get into the acting profession or your side of things from all different kinds of routes, and many very, very talented people do. But having worked on a few things where people have no training and they just think, oh, let's make a film, it can be very frustrating. It
can be, and I've done jobs on other movie sets other than my own, and you look at these things and you go, oh my God.
Yes.
How are these people functioning? Why do they even want to do this? And
exactly.
I've learnt in recent years quite how the way I do things, I like the way I do things. And
exactly.
I know what I'm doing. Even, you might not believe this, but I had an incident recently where people think I'm so disorganized or they think that the whole thing is so amateur hour. You should see some of the other stuff out there.
Yes, exactly.
I know how I run my things, and whether it looks like it or not, I know what I need to get done. And
I've always felt that you do. You storyboarded, you have fantastic ideas, and I felt that you were pretty well sticking to quite a tight schedule because you had to.
Yeah, and I will say, if any of my films were absolutely rigidly planned to the finest detail, it's this An English Haunting.
Yes, I felt that.
I knew every single one was good because we had the location here, so I actually could come here and block out what I wanted. But whether people like the film or not, I had a goal as a filmmaker.
Yes.
And I came here, I executed my vision exactly to the finest detail, to perfection of what I had pre-planned, which on most of my other films, it's good to be flexible. You can wing it here and wing it there, but every dolly move, every slow zoom, every single thing on this film was planned and then done and achieved.
Wait!
When you look at An English Haunting now, are there any things you think, oh God, if I did it again, I'd have done that slightly differently, or I didn't quite get what I hoped I would get out of that particular scene? Are there any moments like that?
With all my films, like I tend to be very critical of my movies. I tend to watch them, and when they're done, I try to go, don't judge it, don't think about it, just bury it.
Yes.
Move on. But the thing is, by the time post-production is finished on An English Haunting, I've already shot 2 more movies.
True.
And so I'm already deep into that, and I love to just completely cast it off.
The only reason I ask is I'm brutal to myself for years.
Right, yeah.
Doesn't matter how many projects I've done in between.
Well, with English Haunting, because we just had the time, the equipment, the location to do it properly, which is rare, especially in micro-budget filmmaking, really rare. Because of that, I do look at it and I see an executed plan that went
as you wanted it.
And I will say, as I edited it, I can hear myself behind the camera, and I was being very strict, very bossy, very...
that's good.
Yeah, maybe, which I'm not usually. I'm usually a bit more relaxed.
I liked it.
I thought, God, I'm not talking to the actors like this, am I? Like demanding, turn around, do it again, but, do this, do that.
No, I loved it.
But it got the results. I was really a man on a mission to make something that was another level to what I'd made before. And I do think I'd achieved that. To answer your question, my own critique of the movie is nothing really scares me. When I watch a horror film, I don't watch it to be scared.
Oh no, neither do I.
Nothing scares me.
No, it doesn't me either, because I can always see it coming. If someone's in a white shirt, they're going to get stabbed. I kind of know all the tropes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, oh, that's great. You kind of relishing it as it's about to come up. But nothing much surprises me anymore.
Yeah, same. And so I'm not good at making things scary.
No.
I cannot... really people want horror films for scary moments, jumps. I tried to put a little bit of that into An English Haunting. That's where, if it was another filmmaker tackling this location and this subject matter in the script, they may have made it scarier than I'm able to. But my interest is the characters.
I agree with you.
And I'll give you a good example. In the script, I'll write something, and there's Tessa. She's an alcoholic. That's your character's dilemma, and she pours the wine down the sink, and then she sits down or whatever. And in the original script, your instinct is, okay, now I want the cliches of ghost films. I want a scary children's ball to roll into view, and she looks and then it's gone. Or I want suddenly the sink is filled with blood and she screams. Well, wouldn't it be better if a bottle of wine rolled across the floor?
I love that moment.
Now that might be seeming a silly idea, and a horror fan might watch it and go, huh, that's not scary. But for me,
related
for the characters,
to her, yes.
What else would it be?
And the alcohol did become blood, didn't it, in the sink?
Yeah, and then I thought we'll fill it with wine, and it kind of looked like blood. I hope you forgive me for bringing this up, but on day one,
yes,
this is why I asked about the trust thing. As you can see, we're best friends to this day, so this is not a criticism, but I find it an interesting story for filmmakers. But on the first day, I remember going home and thinking, she's not going to be there tomorrow. She's gonna be gone tomorrow because because I don't know if you remember, but we sent you home early because you kind of wrapped early. We sent you back to our Airbnb.
Yes.
And there was a trouble with the radio, trouble with the TV, trouble with the cooker. I remember Michael, the cinematographer, comes up to me at the end of day one.
Yes.
Tessa's outside. I don't think she's very happy.
Oh, I'd forgotten
and
that.
I came down. Well, we blanked it out because we had such a good experience.
We really did.
I came down. And you said, you were very hysterical. There was this problem and there's this problem and there was this.
I don't remember this at all.
Really? Well, and
what were the problems?
you'd gotten yourself into a situation, you know.
It was the driving, wasn't it?
And it was also the driving
I'm
at
not good
night.
driving at night.
It was very flustered, and I thought in my head at the time, bless Tessa, because she's come from London out to the middle of nowhere with 3 boys, and you got to put your trust in us.
Yes.
You know, to look after you.
But you looked after me so well after that. I mean, I do remember vaguely now. It was to do with the driving.
Mm-hmm.
I pranged my car, which was
yeah.
fairly new at the time.
Yeah.
I never actually bothered to pursue it with, for insurance, because it wasn't a bad prang.
Mm-hmm.
There were horrible roadblocks. That's right, there were horrible roadblocks. And now I've got a sat nav, but in those days I had some very primitive thing, and there was a diversion. And it was quite late at night by this time, and it kept taking my car back to the same place. And I just thought,
you were in a fluster.
I don't know where the fuck I am.
Yeah.
It's very dark, it's very cold. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
It's been a long day.
I actually don't know how I'm going to get home, or home to the digs.
Yeah.
Because there was problems as well with Barrington having rats in the roof above it where his bed was.
Yeah.
But after that, you very kindly put me up in a dream place.
Yeah, I moved you closer, didn't I?
It was much closer. It was absolutely delightful.
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the actual digs were fine. It's just where it was.
Yeah.
And just this freakiness of going round and round in circles.
You're in a new place. And,
thinking, I've got to get to bed, I've got to work on the script, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And it's nearly midnight and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember coming to set on the second day, and I just thought I felt sick. I thought you could, if you wanted to, you could just go home,
How funny, and I didn't realise any of that.
But by the end of day 2, everything was fine. And by the end of the shoot, we just adored each other.
We did.
Still do,
we did. I mean, you did some wonderful outtakes of us dancing around the banisters and everything. It was absolutely brilliant. I have to say, you've worried me a bit, because in some ways, me going off on one is kind of... I'm part Italian. People forget that, because I sound very English.
Yeah.
And I grew up in that kind of atmosphere. My mother was an hysteric. And so there was always some big drama in the house.
But it's all good experience, and it's all good learning for a filmmaker.
So actually, I did you a favour, didn't I?
That's what I'm saying.
I prepared you. I toughened you up.
You did, and it's important. What are your sort of best memories from making this film? What was the most fun part of it, let's say?
Well, all of it, really. I suppose first seeing the location, that was thrilling for me. Discovering that David and I got on like a house on fire, and we really, really did. I mean, I started to feel a little bit like, not quite his mother, but a family member, because we just clicked so well. And then discovering I loved your direction. And then discovering, actually, I can embody Margot, because you're never quite sure, what you've been doing when you're rehearsing on your own. Is that going to translate? And I felt that it was translating.
Yeah, bringing it to life.
Yeah, so, I mean, there were only very few moments for me that felt uncomfortable, and it was mainly to do with the cold, because we were doing it in the middle of winter.
It's a recurring theme with all these horror
exactly.
films.
So we were shooting in the little chapel where obviously there was no heating, and we were speaking and our breath was turning white. And then we had quite a big sequence outside where we found the character in the bushes. And
oh my God, that was freezing.
Perishingly cold.
I don't know why it was so cold.
And I had a lot of clothes on. I'd come prepared, but I was almost beside myself with cold. But actually, it all helped with the shoot and the feel of the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my memory is, it's always the way, really. I just remember the enjoyment of being in the company. I love actors. I love the company of the actors.
Me too.
My favourite memories would be relaxing and just having lunch together and telling stories and
and little anecdotes. Shovel it down, because we never seemed to have full lunch breaks because we were
always behind
running
schedule.
Against the clock a little bit.
Always.
And so, and the fact that we had pretty much the same lunch every day. But I've heard that Victoria Beckham does that. She has the same meal every day.
I am like that. I have the same meals.
It was a ham roll, I think, wasn't it?
Probably.
Most days.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of fruit and other goodies. But it was the shovel it in.
That was me
really
saying, shovel it in, everyone.
Yeah.
Shovel it in. With your role of Margot,
yes.
Did you see any of yourself in that role, or was there any specific attraction to that role for you?
Well, to begin with, she was a bit of an anti-hero, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And that's always appealing. The fact that she's venal, she's just there to claim her family inheritance.
Yeah.
She's a very flawed character with her drinking, and she's not been a very good mother to her son. Vile thing, isn't he?
Mum.
He was a ghastly-looking man. He's like some waxwork that should be displayed in the Chamber of Horrors. No wonder they've kept in the attic all this time. But then gradually it emerges, why not? Because of the appalling, just beyond appalling things that he's done when he was younger.
Yeah.
And so it all starts to make sense. So I think possibly an audience might warm to her a bit as the film goes on. But to begin with, she is a bit of a pain in the neck.
I really like imperfect characters.
Yes. Yeah, she's a fairly appalling human being in some ways, but she does go on a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is important. I mean, this isn't necessarily your typical trash, slash 'em up horror movie.
Absolutely. And also it moves slowly. Some horror films, they can't wait to get to the blood and gore. This has it's a slow burn, isn't it?
People will write reviews online and say, this film's so slow and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
As if we didn't intend it to be an elegant, slow-burning thing inspired by those old BBC ghost stories
but also,
for Christmas.
There will always be people who say things like that.
Generally, the reviews I've mostly seen of English Haunting have actually been kind to it.
Yes, they have. And some of them are really good.
And I rarely say this about my movies, but I'm very, very pleased with this movie.
Yes.
It turned out how I wanted it to turn out, and it went to plan. Do you have any words of wisdom for actors who are trying to persevere? I mean, as you said, you are years down the line, decades down the line of your own acting career.
Yes.
There may be someone watching this, maybe a filmmaker, maybe an actor, who's struggling to persevere or wondering if they should persevere.
It's really, really tough question, and I think it varies from person to person. You need a lot of self-belief, so that even if you're having to do the crappy job on the side hustle, just to support what you really want to be doing, I think you have to do that. And my main word of advice is that if there's anything else you could possibly see yourself doing, go and do that.
Yeah.
Because you are likely to suffer a lot of rejections, frustrations. Some of the experiences that you've been yearning for will turn out to be not very nice. I mean, I love reading stories about other actors, and I read not so long ago that Olivia Colman, in the first year that she was out of drama school, she had 140 auditions and didn't get one of them. And look at her now. And so just the scale of it and the numbers of people trying to go for each job is absolutely vast, especially for film, television, commercials and things. But you've just got to keep throwing your hat in the ring if you want to do it enough.
The actual hustle and the hardship is so much worse and harder than you could possibly comprehend.
It is.
And I'm so pleased and lucky that as a 23-year-old making an English Haunting, or a 24-year-old, I didn't have any of the self-awareness to even think about these things. Now I actually do grapple way more with questions of why even, I'm not rich, I'm not connected, why even make these films? It's all been done and said before. What's the point?
Something drives you on though, doesn't it?
It's all I could possibly do.
I did not do it for a while when I became a voice coach, but I can remember I made a recording shortly before I decided to go off and be a voice coach, and I just thought it's going to feel a bit like lopping off a limb.
Yeah,
but I
right.
have to do it for a while because I really wanted to buy my own flat, and that was important to me. It isn't for everybody, but it was for me. I had a kind of fear of ending up in the gutter in Earl's Court. It was always Earl's Court. I don't know why.
Well, yeah,
and so I thought, and nobody's going to make that unlikely to happen apart from me.
Yeah.
Because my parents died when I was quite young. I didn't have a husband or a partner. I thought, if it's important to me to have a flat, I've got to make that happen, and then I will return and pick up my, if I can, I'll try and pick up where I left off.
Did you get to go into the shops and actually get a copy?
I did.
Of it?
I got a copy. I came to the premiere in Soho, which was lovely, and saw Peter Oxley, of course. And so it was lovely seeing it on a big screen.
Great. Well, Tessa, that is An English Haunting. It's been a pleasure to talk to you and
Thank
reminisce.
you, Charlie. Yeah, really lovely to talk to you as well, as always.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and
Thanks
good
very
luck
much.
with your next projects.
Thank you very much, Tessa.